Good morning, this is Mark from Everyday Garage. Today we've got a Ford Focus ST with a headlamp control issue coming up on the dash panel. The guys in the workshop over the road, they have started to have a look at this one. It was reporting issues with the height sensor, front and rear. They found this one to be C-solid, so it's been replaced. So it was definitely required, but they're still having an issue. So it's over with me and we'll find out what's going on with it. Okay, first thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to stick the ignition on and see what warnings the customer's having a look at. So let's have a look and see what's happening on the dash display. Okay, really annoying beep because the door's open. Shut that, there we go. Headlamp malfunction, service required. So that's obviously what the customer's seeing. So I'm going to plug into this now, see what fault codes we got, then see what we need to do next. Okay, so I'm just plugged into the headlamp control module. So I'm just going to read fault codes and see what faults we've got. Okay, so we've got left front height sensor, left rear height sensor, level control, and sensor 5-volt supply. Okay, so we haven't got left and right sensors on this, we've just got front and rear. These are the faults that we've been stuck with. I'm going to check the voltage supplies down to the sensors and go from there, see what we've got. Let's just see if these faults definitely won't clear. Fault cleared, loading the data. Yeah, we still got exactly the same faults, so nothing's clearing here at the moment. I'm going to check my 5-volt supplies to front and rear sensors, see what's going on. Okay, I'm starting here now at the back of the vehicle. I'm looking at the rear height sensor first. I've just managed to get back probed into the plug there. The voltage reading that I'm getting on my machine, I'm seeing 1.4 volts. So not the 5 volts that you should get as a reference voltage. And I've already been to the other 2 wires on there and back probed those, and I'm not getting any voltage off of either of those at all. So I'm just going to quickly check the front and see if I'm getting the same thing, but obviously the 5-volt reference is missing at the moment, which is obviously why I've got a fault being reported back with this sensor. So I need to have a look at the front and see what that one's doing now. Okay, so I've been doing the same testing on the front sensor as I have with the back sensor, and I'm getting the same result. So see again, I've got my probe back probed into the new sensor. I'm seeing just under 1.3 volts here on the meter. The other 2 wires are showing nothing. So again, I've got no 5 volts coming into this component. This is going to be why we're getting faults with both sensors, and I've got a 5-volt supply issue as well. So all the fault codes I've got on my scanner, I can see why I've got them. Just need to work out what's causing it now. Okay, so I've pulled off the plug here now from my rear sensor. I've already checked the voltages again, other side of the plug, and my 5-volt reference voltage has come back. So what I'm going to do now, and I've already got this set up, so I've now gone to my front sensor, which is now plugged in still. It's the new sensor, but again, also here, I now have 5 volts. So this would appear at the minute that my rear sensor has got some kind of internal issue or short or something, and is pulling the 5-volt reference voltage down. So I'm just going to have a look at it. I'll plug this one back in. Okay, a little bit fiddly in there, 1 sec. Trying to hold the camera and do this at the same time. Just quickly pop it in, that's it. Right, she's back on there. Oh, can't see it, there we go, so that's back on. We come back to the front of the car, and sure enough, once that rear sensor is connected, we're dropping the 5-volt reference to this component, and I'm guessing we're going to be dropping it to the back one as well. So I think what I'm going to do next, because I can't clear any of these codes, is re-disconnect the rear sensor and then see if I can clear any of the fault codes. I should hopefully be able to clear the front one and just be left with a rear sensor issue. So let's just see if that happens. Right, off camera there, I've just removed the plug to the rear height sensor. the one that seems to be pulling the 5-volt references down, which we can see as fault codes there. Earlier we couldn't clear the 5-volt, well, we couldn't clear any of those fault codes, nothing would clear at all. I took that plug off camera, it's a real sod to get off, so yeah, that's now off. Let's have a look, see if we can clear any more of these DTCs. Fault memory cleared. Let's see where we're at. There we go. So we've got the rear height sensor and level control causing us an issue still. That's disconnected, so I'd expect that. When I'd reconnect it, I'll get my 5-volt and the front sensor go down as well. I'm pretty happy just with this information to change that rear height sensor. That will give us no issues hopefully from that point. Maybe just be left with the leveling control, which we can adjust, run the adaptions for once we've got rid of all the other codes. What I'm also going to do now, though, just to prove it even further, I have got the old sensor that the boys have changed already, the one that was seized. You can see how stuck that is. Okay, if I try hard enough, just so you can see how that moves. Okay, so that wasn't really any good. I'm going to see if I plug that in now to the back. Can we get rid of this rear height sensor as well? This one, I'm pretty sure, is just a mechanical failure on this sensor, as the rear one is the electrical failure. So I'm going to plug this in and see if we can get rid of this rear height sensor code. Let's see what happens. I need to get some kind of better way of filming this. Doing this with one hand is not easy. 1 second. Ah, there we go. Clicker in. That's clicked in. Right, we're in. What do we got? Let's see if we can clear any more of these codes. Okay. Cancel that, I don't know what I did there. There we go. So we're just left now with leveling control. So I'm pretty sure once I fit the new sensor on, it should just be a case of running adaptions on the headlight system, get rid of that code, and this job should be a good one. Hopefully that's it for now. Wicked. Right, we're back on the ST. The boys in the workshop have fitted up the rear height sensor. Just going to see what fault codes we've got in here now. Okay, so I'm going to clear the DTCs down and see what we're left with. Okay, leveling control. So what I'm going to do now is see if we can carry out a calibration on this now that everything else is fixed. So let's have a quick look, see what we've got on our options. Special functions. It's a headlamp alignment. I'm going to turn the low beam on. Hopefully when this process is carried out, that should clear our final code. Now we've fixed the sensors. Okay. Perform self-test and resolve the problem with calibration if necessary. So turn the ignition off. Okay. Stick it back on. Let's have a look at the fault codes. Okay, we've still got an issue in here with leveling control, so I'm going to have a look in and see what it is. So I can see the headlights are working and the level control is going up and down, but I still have a code in there for leveling control, so I'm just going to quickly look into this and see what it is. Okay, just off camera there, I just quickly went into clear DTCs after running the alignment procedure, and actually now that we've got no DTCs in there, all I needed to do was clear the fault codes after you've run out that process. Sometimes when you run a process like that, the fault codes will clear automatically. On this, we needed to clear the fault codes after we'd run adaption. But that's all good now. I've got no fault codes. Hopefully we've got no message on the dash display. So we'll just have a quick check of that when we turn the ignition on and off. Let's have a quick look. When it does its self-checks. Okay. Oil change required.
hopefully nothing to do with headlights now. We should be good and in the clear, good to go. That's it, car's happy, I'm happy, customer should be happy. All that's left to do now is for me to adjust headlight aims, which we'll do now. Just to finish the job off now, make sure everything's done perfectly. We've just gone into our MOT bay, and we're just going to check now on the beam tester, and you can see, well, just about on camera there, you can see that the beam pattern is correct, and it's in the right part of the graph on the machine. So I'm just going to quickly check the other headlamp as well. Just get that lined up there. Again, we're happy with that. So that'll be good for MOT. He's not going to be blinding anybody. No fault codes. That's it, another job finished.